Alright, this is all about the other kinds of bases there are. There's a fellow George Diamond in Harrisburg who makes these three bases. These are called speed diamonds. I think the white ones are still available on the website. I believe he's made these in clear as well. I've seen clear single clips as well. These are really fast. You see they're very small prongs. Maybe this one's an easier one to see. Then he also makes these, which he calls dial bases, but they really don't spin. But look at the size of the prongs on these puppies. You can make these strong, you can make them fast, you can clip the top so it's got a downward slant. We'll go into some tweaking on these. These are excellent bases. The problem with these is if you don't have a delicate touch with your tweaking, they're very hard to tweak for me. I know other people have great success with them. Not so much for me. So moving along, there used to be a game, I guess maybe 2005 to 2010 or so, somewhere in that range, called Excalibur. They made a low-end, very inexpensive board. Compared to this guy, how much higher, how much lower the Excalibur is than the diamond base, or, for example, or one of these Klingbeil bases, which we're going to get to soon. They're very low. These bases, again, are very delicate. These, on the other hand, have a dial, and that works pretty well. And I'm going to show you what you could do with these. Right out of the box, these are okay, not great. But if you take, also Mark Klingbeil, who we will get to, sells dials. And these are dials. Here you got single prongs, and here you got double prongs. These dials can go into this space and do some really interesting stuff with it as well. Coleco back in the 70s made, I guess, what was it called? Command control football, where you had a magnet you stick on a certain player and there was a lever you can control the guy. These bases, you could find them on eBay, not very expensive. Not great as far as strength. I mean, the shape is wonderful for trying to get a guy off the line. So if you taped on a receiver on this guy's really hard to stop. And these are, you could actually get these to go pretty fast, but not strong. They're really weak, even when you get the weight up. By the way, this is what the players used to look like. You see how big and goofy they are. I've tried painting one of these, and the paint just absolutely refuses to stick to this. Again, like I said, you can find these on eBay. Not a bad idea. These are a little bit harder to find. These are called boat bases or even bullet bases. These are made by Munro. They made these. I don't have really good luck with these four tiny little prongs. Or these four prongs on a dial base. This one is really promising, but not with the prongs that come with it. You have to take one of these ITZ dials and tweak that, which I've done with my Ahmad Rashad figure, and you see I've got some weight there. What the problem is with this base is you've got all prongs right here, and if you look at it from the side, if you have the figure that has any weight in the front or any weight in the back, that it just tends to tip over and fall, so it's not great for balance. This is probably as good as it gets with a figure that kind of stands right over the center here. It's very difficult to get the balance on these guys right. So, like I said, these are interesting if you play in a league, or if they relax the rules on what they call Frankenstein bases, where you can combine, the best of like a speed diamond base, a very fast base, and somehow shove it in there, maybe clip the outsides of the, shave off some of the white plastic here, fit under here, and then you have a fast base with the very dangerous, very hard to cover pointy nose. That's going to be cool. So I'm holding on to these with the hope that maybe Frankensteining will be allowed. Now let's move on to the ITZ bases. These are, I love these bases. So they have what they call the standard bases. You have the standard standard 8 prongs on these. And he's also got the power bases. Now again, these are called standard, I guess the power standard and the fast standard, whatever they call it. So these bases all have a flat front, but Mark also sells, Mark Klingbeil from ITZ Bases also sells these base bumpers. So if you want a rounded front, oops, sorry, I have to put it on like this. Sorry about that. And I just give it a little bit of a press like that, and it just clips into place. Now you've got a base that has a rounded front. So instead of having the flat front, you've got a rounded front. And he has other sorts of things if you want to have a player that has an angled front, you know, like this. But you see now he's got an angle. He's got this side's higher than that side. So if you want to bounce off a player or something like that, you can potentially do that. He's got different shapes here. He's even got a concave shape, which would be good for, you know, if I were making an offensive lineman, I might want to put on the concave shape, which is this one. And if I just give it a clip, so now I've got a base that's concave, not just flat, but actually concave. So if I were an offensive lineman, this is the kind of base I'd have. So if the defensive lineman were like this, I would try to lock, you know, to some extent lock him in. Very cool idea to have these base bumpers. Now the other thing he's got is he's got these dial bases. So you've got ones with the stronger, you know, the big thick prongs in the back, and the four prongs in the back. So I mean, there's nothing saying you can't mix up, you know, this dial with, you know, again, I have to tweak this base. So it looks like this. You'd have no idea whether it's got the fast or the strong on it. But typically you could do this as well. So you've got, you know, strong in the front, strong in the back, and now he's this way. And again, you can tweak the base so it runs this way or it runs this way. So with the prong forward base, it's pretty much the same thing. You just slide it in, just kind of center it up, click it, and there you go. So now he's got the prongs farther in the front, which again, you can make this base go forwards or you can make it go backwards depending which way you angle the prongs. Now the last thing I want to talk about is a gear base. When you get a gear base, this is what you get. You get the shell, you get a bunch of prongs, you get these controls, and you get this shell. First step is you take the 4 prongs and you put them into the corner holes. Next step you do, so you're stuck with this leftovers right now, right? You've got 2 prongs and a base lid. You stick the 2 prongs in there, and then you just take this lid and you stick it over the top so it looks like this. Ta-da! So now with this gear base, you can rotate these with your fingers, but I'm trying to show this. You see how the prongs are moving when I turn it? So the prongs, so you can have this base. In other words, you can have individually controllable front and rear prongs. Now, one of the problems with this is, with all those things I just put in this base starts getting a little bit heavy. So also, I don't really like these things move. These dials move a little bit too much, too freely. So what I've done is, when I get to this step, where I put the 4 prongs in, I just put putty in there. You can just go like this and just turn it a little bit. Now if I go like this and just angle these and maybe press it down, now I've got a guy, now he's going to go straight. So it's not as convenient maybe as these, but it doesn't move. The putty keeps these in place better, in my opinion. So that's the way I've been using the gear bases. Now, ITZ sells, so what you've seen is what they currently sell. What they have, they sell some stock of what they call the convention set. I guess they did this for one of the football conventions, where you get, for very cheap, they've had these on sale for a while, you get the standard bases here, you've got a gear base here, and you've got some of the dial bases. Now the difference is, the gear bases, rather than having the prongs that look like the prong that's one piece, on the convention set, you know, this bag here, they came in 2 pieces. So after you clip off 8 million little pieces off of this convention set, you see them at the bottom. These are the prongs. Anyway, so you had one extra step. You had to, of course, clip these out, and then this would fit inside of there. And there's your prong. And then that could be inserted into the corner, just like any of the other bases. So, hope you enjoyed that.